The final section I want to spend a few minutes on is the 7-step client conversion system that converts new clients to high value clients without feeling salesy. It's not a sales call. This is a meeting to see if you're the right, if this is the right fit, right? So there's 7 steps, folks. So let me quickly go over the 7 steps, and then I want to do a drill down on the one I feel a lot of people mess up on. So the 7 steps quickly are, and this is like a 1-hour meeting. So you kind of use this template, this structure to have a conversation with a prospect to get them from not knowing who they are and all that to signing them up as a client. First is build initial rapport. Remember, it's a 1-hour call, so I'll kind of every so often I'll share with you the things to watch out for. Building initial rapport. The prospect is there for a reason. Don't spend 5, 10, 15 minutes on building initial rapport. You're going to run out of time, and you're going to run out of the attention span of your prospect. So be mindful of that. There are things there is interesting about life history and stories and all that, experiences, but we're there for a reason. So we do the initial rapport, but we keep it to a minute, maybe 2 minutes at the max, okay? Second is we learn more about them. And this is where I'm gonna give you a formula where you do more of a drill down. So I'm going to come back to number 2 of how we do that because it needs to be structured. Number 3 is once we have done that and we found out what their true problem, the big problems are, this is what keeps them up at night. This is their 100K problem, not their 10K problem. Then we present the solutions. Mistake to avoid is to present solutions, is to prescribe before diagnosing. Number 2 is diagnosing. It's the medical doctor that starts prescribing drugs without understanding doing the diagnosis, right? Don't fall in that trap. So then you present your solution after you've adequately done number 2. Number 4 is you review your contract, your services agreement. Number 5, handle any objections or concerns. 6, make them feel comfortable about making the change. Have them say it out. How are they going to address it? And then number 7 is establishing an onboarding process. Super important to make sure they're moving on in the right way. All right. As I said, I'm going to do a quick drill down on number 2. Learn more about them. I used a method called the SPIN method that I heard from a gentleman by the name of Neil Rackham, who interviewed 100,000 salespeople, and he saw the top ones, what are they doing, and he created the system. So it is getting into 4 types of questions. Situation questions, where you're more about finding about facts, what type of legal structure you are, how do you record your transaction, are you using software, all that, right? How long have you been in business? What are your revenues, profits? Just situation questions. You want to go through that pretty fast to kind of get a quick understanding of what's there. Next is problem questions. You're exploring problems, difficulties, dissatisfactions. What's got you here? What's the problem? What's keeping you up at night, right? And so the clients like 3 things or 5 things that are not working for them. And then importantly, we have to get into the implication is make the implied needs larger and more urgent. How is it affecting them? Because they are not growing, because they're not meeting with their accountant, because they're not getting the help from their accountant who's taking the time to understand them and their business. How is this affecting them? How is it affecting their business? How is it affecting their families and so forth? So we make the implied needs larger, right? Most people find out the problem and then they go into prescription without doing the next 2 steps. Yeah, so find out the problems, 3 to 5, and then dig deeper into 1 or 2 or 3. You don't need, you need just like 1 or 2 to really close the deal. You don't need all of them, right? Because there's so much there. Once you really get to the true effect, the true impact of that problem, then yeah, you really got the prospect thinking about how negatively it's affecting them. And then you go into getting the prospect to focus on solutions and for them to say, wow, yeah, if I didn't have this problem, life would be so much better. Yeah, this would just change my whole world. Like you got the client feeling that, the prospect feeling that. And when they do that, when they're at that stage, it's like, thank you for being so open, candid with me. I've taken a page full of notes. Appreciate it. If you don't mind, I'd like to share a little bit about myself, my firm, and you get into a quick description of yourself and then the solutions that you offer as they apply to the problems that they shared. So every solution, the services you are sharing connect to the problems that they shared. So if they've got profitability issues, tax, paying too much in taxes, all that, your services, your tax planning services, your advisory services, your financial statement preparation, all that is connecting to the problems that they shared.
Hey, Salim.
Yeah.
We are at the end of our time, so if it's okay, we need to go ahead and launch the last poll question.
Absolutely. Where is it? Oh, there it is. Cool.
All right, so that last poll is now available for everyone to answer. And while it's up, I'm just going to do some quick end of webinar housekeeping after we close the poll. Salim, I'll turn it back to you for some brief webinar end of webinar remarks before we close out. CPE will be issued by our team here at CPA Academy a little later today. You can access your CPE certificate through your CPA Academy account once it has been issued. Webinar evaluations for this course have gone out by email, and you can also access those evaluations through your CPA Academy accounts as well. We have about 30 seconds or so left in this poll. Don't forget to hit the submit button so it counts towards your credit. And when we close out of the poll in about 15 seconds or so, Salim, I'll turn it back to you for some brief concluding remarks before we go ahead and close out.
Sure, absolutely.
Of course, we're going to close out of this poll in 3, 2, and 1, and that poll is now closed.
Awesome, great. 50% of you said you want to create a practice flow firm. If that is you, feel free to have a chat with me, schedule some time. Jason, if we can put the link for this in the chat or the questions pane, that would be great. And we'll be raffling off a couple of my books. We're going to ship them to you. But yeah, here's the link. There should be, once you click on the link, you'll see a page. It's got my calendar. Feel free to do that. It's a one-on-one session with me, and we'll talk about your practice.
You can also access that link through the handout, and we are over time. So Salim, we're going to have to go ahead and close out. Thank you so much for presenting. And of course, to our audience, thank you so much for your participation and attendance. We hope to see you all on a future webinar. And for now, have a great rest of the day. Take care, everyone.
Thank you.